New twists and turns in the case of a missing district girl. Good evening, this is CTV News. I'm Byron Scott.
And I'm Patricia Vallone. An intensive search has been underway at a D.C. park for Relisha Rudd. Now, the 8-year-old was last seen on March 1st with Khalil Tatum, the man that police believe abducted her.
And investigators have been working to find him and find the child. Denise Douglas here now with the latest. Denise?
Absolutely. And at this point, this is being called a recovery effort. Those are the exact words from Police Chief Kathy Lanier. Now, it's sad, but the reality is the police believe that the suspect in this case might have harmed Relisha Rudd. Today, the FBI, D.C. police and cadets were at Kenilworth Park searching the woods, and every inch of it, you can see right there, they're going shoulder to shoulder as they look for clues in her disappearance. The reason for the search there, D.C. police say Rudd was last seen with Khalil Tatum, the man that they believe kidnapped her, on March 1st. On March 2nd, he bought contractor-sized trash bags and was believed to be in the area of the park. And since then, he's been seen out and about, but there has been no sign of the young girl. Here's some of what Police Chief Kathy Lanier has to say about the search.
While we have committed a significant amount of resources for searching the area of the aquatic gardens for Relisha, other detectives and agents continue to follow up on other leads simultaneously. While this current operation in the aquatic gardens would be best described as a recovery operation, we have not given up hope that we may still find Relisha alive.
Now, if you're wondering, that search could take days or weeks because the park is large, running along the Annapolis River, and much of it is wooded. Rudd had been in Tatum's care since her mother gave her to him. However, school and social services reported her missing after noticing she had not been attending school. She was last seen at Payne Elementary School on March 7th. Now, in addition, the alleged kidnapping to that, Tatum is facing charges in the murder of his wife. Yesterday, the FBI added him to its most wanted list. Lots going on.
A lot going on, and we've seen the mother on the media reports, asking for her daughter and everything. But where does she stand in all this? Everybody's like, why did the mother give her daughter to this man?
Which was the exact question that I asked at the press conference today. I said, where does the mother fit into all this? Is she facing any charges? And Police Chief Kathy Lanier basically said, right now we are focusing on Relisha and trying to find her or recover if that is the scenario, and we're going to talk about that later.
But they're holding out hope that it's not a recovery.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And at this point, what do they expect to see happen? Are they going to be searching again tomorrow, you say?
Yes, the search continues because, like I said, the park is large, and it's going to take a lot of manpower and a lot of time to get through it all.
All right. Well, we will all hold that hope then. Thank you, Denise.
Absolutely.
Well, a Senate bill that would place statewide guidelines on speed cameras in Maryland makes its way to the House. With only 7 legislative days left in the session, the countdown is on to pass Senate Bill 350, which was heard in the Environmental Matters Committee this afternoon. Senator James Brochin says the legislation does 3 things. One, it prohibits vendors from being paid on a per-ticket basis, phasing out the so-called bounty system by 2017. Second, it restricts the use of and placement of cameras in school zones. And third, it appoints an ombudsman as part of the appeal process.
Say, hey, I was stopped at this red light, and I don't know how they did this, or you can send evidence to an ombudsman. Every county will have to name an ombudsman. And if an ombudsman sees that it was absolutely erroneous and that it shouldn't be given, he or she can unilaterally void out the ticket. So that's the first.
Both the House and the Senate have passed their respective versions of the legislation, which now goes to committees in opposite chambers. If passed, a joint committee would meet to sort out minor differences between the 2 bills.
Will Maryland be the next state to raise the minimum wage? Delegate Aisha Braveboy is the chief sponsor of a bill that would boost base pay for low-wage workers to $8.20 an hour in 2015. Now, the hourly rate would increase annually up to $10.10 in 2017. Braveboy says she sponsored similar legislation in past years. The bill has passed the House and is now in the Senate. With limited time left in the session, she hopes to finally get movement on it this year.
In Prince George's County and Montgomery County, those 2 jurisdictions have raised the minimum wage, but we have 22 other jurisdictions in the state of Maryland that have not. And so we have to care about workers all throughout the state of Maryland, not just in the metropolitan area, and those workers deserve a raise.
And a hearing on the bill was held in the Senate Finance Committee yesterday. Well, after 2 days of debate, the Maryland House of Delegates passed the state's $39 million budget. Lawmakers debated several bills during the final reading of the governor's proposal in the House chamber this afternoon. Common Core, the state's new standards-based education curriculum, came under fire, with officials offering amendments in an attempt to limit or readdress funding for the program.
I know that all of you who have children have worked with your children at night with their homework. And I know that sometimes when you've helped them with their homework, that you say, I can't believe they're doing it this way. This is ridiculous. Well, this is what's happening with Common Core.
And simply because it's been introduced and they're doing it is no excuse for us not to put a stop to it if we need to do that. I support this amendment. Thank you.
Now, the 2015 fiscal year budget reallocates $200 million originally set aside for the state's pension system to fund other programs, including health and education.
This budget continues the persistent practice of this administration of raiding special funds to paper over structural deficits. This year, the targets are the State Employee Pension Fund, Project Open Space, and the Bay Trust Fund. $300 million of raids to paper over a deficit.
We have made a real-world decision that says the reality is we can't afford to reinvest $300 million this year, and we're realistic and said probably next year as well. But we have put together a plan, and to my colleagues from Prince George's County, this is why the rating agencies continue to give the state of Maryland a AAA. Because we're tough on ourselves, we make difficult decisions, but we also plan for our future based on the information that we have today, using the actuarial information to anticipate our needs tomorrow. We don't always get it exactly right. And so an adjustment isn't a robbery. An adjustment is a reality.
Now, the Senate approved the plan earlier this month.